In this video I'm going to show you how to repair a battery of a drill that you like that it doesn't charge anymore. So what happens is that when you put it on the charger, it goes from this charging to charging like right away. It just stays like in green all the time, right? So I'll show you what happens and why is it doing that, because it's not charging. Once you understand what's going on, you're going to decide if you want to fix it. It's possible, so it's not too hard, but it's all about the effort that you want to put in. So that's a voltmeter right now, right? So this battery is fully charged, and if you read the positive and the negative, it's going to give you 14.86 volts, right? But this is a 20 volt battery. So what's happening? These are the cells. So there's like 5 cells in here, right? And if you look at the cells, you see there's like terminals for each cell. So this balancing board doesn't have balancing functions. Because it doesn't have balancing functions, this board, it doesn't know how to balance its cells. And this battery set into a drill for too long and it just went crazy. And I'll show you how crazy it went. So right now we're gonna read the first cell, and it's a 1.925 volts, right? I'm gonna go to the next cell, so this and this. And this is going to be 2.5 volts. There's a huge voltage difference between these two, but wait, there is more. Because if I'm going to go to the next cell, so I'm going to go to this cell, then this one is at 4 volts. And it's important, I'm going to show you why. And then I'm going to go to the next one, so I'm going to go to the next one, and this one is 3.89, and then I'm going to go to the last one over here, and that's the last one, and 2.54. So basically, you have one cell, another cell over here, another cell over here, and another cell over there. So this is what's happening. So this is 4 volts. This one is overcharged. All the other cells are in different stages of charge. And what happens is that this BMS can read that this battery, this cell is at 4 volts, and it turns off the charging because it doesn't know how to balance the other ones, and this one is already full, so it's trying to protect it. The BMS turns off, it doesn't charge the other cells, and then you're screwed. So how do you fix that? Because what you have to do is you have to bring all the cells to its maximum voltage. So you have to charge this cell separately, charge this cell separately, and you don't want to take the battery apart, right? Because you could take the battery apart, but that will be a pain in the ass, or change the cells. That's another option, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to spend money. You could do it if you have one of these. So this is a cell optimizer, and the problem with the cell optimizer is that you have to take the battery apart and take the cell in here and put it in here, and then this will bring all the cells in line. But you can't do that. I mean, you can, but it's just too much work. So the best way to do this, so for me it was really easy to build this thing, a piece of wood out of the trash, and then just a screw on top, and then another screw at the bottom. Okay, so this is gonna take a while because you can only charge one at a time. So you can see how I have it in the middle slot, positive, negative, going to the positive, negative. It's charging at 1 amp right now, and that cell is going to go all the way to the top, and then you're going to go to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, until you do them all. You can charge more than one because sometimes you have to cross wires and you could short out things, and that battery, once it's full, then it should be balanced, at least for a while, because this is a really cheap balancing board, but it should be balanced at least for a while. And then just don't leave it in a drill. And if you leave it in a drill, this is how you have to take it apart, and you just have to go through this pain. But, you know, it's worth it for the $20, $30 battery. You know, it's still worth it, especially when you cannot find it. And I cannot find this particular brand. Okay, so the last cell just finished charging right now. And let's put this back together and see if it's gonna actually work. So I got that one charged, this one charged, this one charged, and that one charged, and I had one that I didn't have to charge. That was the one that was full. So here it is. I assembled it just with one screw on one side. So I plugged it into a charger to see if this is gonna wake it up a little bit, because sometimes the BMS needs to be like woken. The voltage on it, it is 20 volts instead of 15, whatever it was before. Let's see if that BMS woke up. There it is. And now it's working. So basically the BMS shut off because the cells were too discharged when I assembled the battery in the charger, just so I wake up the BMS. The BMS was in shut off mode. It was trying to protect the cells. It didn't know that I've charged them manually in the back. Now, when I plugged it in, it restarted that BMS. Now the BMS is putting power back up. And then now what's gonna happen is I have to run a full test, a full charge, full discharge with this thing, and then let's see if it's going to charge.